Hey, happy Monday. Rough seas. What's going on? You know what else is rough? Rougher than you think. Because you think it's going to be easier when your kids leave the roost. You see, you know what? You think like, Mark, I just don't have the time. I'm going to wait till my kids are out of the house. Right? I know there's people right now thinking it's going to get easier when your kids get going. Now, my kids are still home, but they're just around the corner from being out on their own, right? In college or out in the work environment, whatever. And I just had a great conversation with a coaching client who's been struggling, and we were talking about it. And you know what? It was a light bulb that went off. Because a lot of people say, Mark, I'll just wait until, my kids are out of the house. Right now, I got to do this, got to do that, I got to take them here. And when they're gone, I'll be able to focus on myself. And you know what? It doesn't get easier. It gets harder. Because here's what happened. Now, listen up. This is for my parents who are out there whose kids are still in the roost. Maybe they're in middle school, high school, maybe they're getting ready to go to college, and maybe you have one at home or two at home and one that's away at college, so forth, so on. And it's still a bit of a challenge because you still have responsibilities for the one that's still home, and maybe you're still trying to set a good example. But guess what? When it's just you and your spouse, you and your husband or your wife, and it's just the two of you, I'll tell you what, I had just a conversation. It's a struggle. It gets harder because then you're like, we have this freedom now. We've had kids in the house, in the roost for the last 18, 20 something years. And now they're out of the house. And now, people are inviting us to go out. We have no responsibilities. There's no soccer practice to take them to. There's no swim lessons. There's no school events. There's no football games. And then it's about you and your spouse. Hopefully, if you enjoy each other's company still, right? Which I hope, right? You have a good relationship. You got to invest in it now. You can't wait until the kids get out of the house. But if you've been waiting this time to get in shape, and you're like, it's never been the right timing. It's not the good timing. There's just too much going on in my life. And then the kids are out, and you're going to think it's going to get easier. Trust me, from what I was just told, and you know what? It makes sense. It gets harder. Because then you want to enjoy life. You want to, maybe you're thinking about retirement, or you're thinking about the things you want to do, or the dinners you couldn't go to, or the vacations you didn't take that were just you and your hubby, your spouse, right? And now you can do them, and now you can indulge, and you can kind of reap all the hard work you've been putting in, and now you don't have that extra responsibility. But guess what? It gets harder. It gets harder. It's kind of crazy to think that it does get harder. And you're like, no, Mark, no. I can't. I have more time. Right, but guess what? The time's going to get filled. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. The time's going to get filled with the things you want to do. Now, you have a choice. And that was what we talked about. It's a choice now to make the efforts, regardless if your kids are out of the house or not, to truly live life, to truly be at your maximum potential, to do the things you want to do. Maybe you want to pick up surfing when the waves come in from a tropical storm and they get good. And I'm actually going to go get on my board now and jump in and catch a few waves. And guess what? Now, my son's already surfing, and my daughter, she's at the gym with my wife. What I would say is we're able to do the things that we want to do because we're doing it now. We're not waiting. We're not procrastinating. And listen, it's not going to get easier. I know at 47, when I turn 48 next week, and it becomes 10 years from 48, let's just say, in 58, if I don't do what I'm doing now and continue to progress and continue to make my time, take time for me, it's going to be harder when I'm 58. It's going to be harder when I'm 68. It ain't going to get easier. It's going to get harder. And just to think if your kids are out of the house, it's going to be easier. It isn't. It's going to be harder because you're going to be 10 years older, or maybe 5 years older, or maybe 15 years older. And your body's going to be struggling more. Maybe you're going to have more weight on. It's going to be tough. And to think, that'll be the perfect time for me to start taking care of myself. Guess how much ground you're going to have to make up from not taking care of yourself for so many years. So my encouragement to you is whether or not you want to maybe jump out and surf some big waves in your 40s like me. Maybe you want to go on some fun vacations. Maybe you want to travel the world. Maybe you just want to travel your state. Maybe you want to just enjoy being with your wife. Think about this. Your kids are out of the house. Guess what? There could be more of that kind of time if you know what I'm talking about. But chances are, if you're feeling crappy and you don't feel good about yourself, You feel not just lethargic, you feel overweight. Not only do you not want to look at yourself in the mirror, you don't want your spouse to look at you because you feel really not, not sexy, whatever you want to call it. Hey, husbands, I'm talking to you as well. Not feeling too sexy? Think it's going to get easier when your kids are out of the house? No, it's not going to get easier. It's going to get harder because you're going to be older. It's going to be tougher. You're going to have more aches and pains. So my encouragement to you today, whatever day it is and whatever season of life, whether you still have kids in the house, whether you have nobody in the house, you can. The good news is you can start now. But if you keep procrastinating, you keep putting it off, it's only going to get tougher. And if you're a dude, maybe you live at the beach, you got a nice beach house, or you live close, and you've been working hard to afford the lifestyle, fantastic. But what about the lifestyle of truly living at the beach? Maybe going for a paddleboard, maybe going out enjoying some tasty waves, right? That's going to take some effort. It's going to take some work. So you can start now, or you can keep waiting, keep procrastinating. Maybe when your kids, here's another kind of season. The next season would be is when your kids start a family of their own and they have grandchildren. They want you to be active and participant. Maybe you want to babysit while they have a date night like you did when you had date nights and your parents watch your kids. But no, you can't because you're out of shape. You can't get down and play with them. And you're a mess. You're a hot mess. Don't become a hot mess. Get hot. Come on, let's do this already. Reach out to me, send me a message. We'll see if we can be a good fit to work together. And I know I'm not the right fit for everyone, but trust me, you don't want to wait until you're an empty nester. You don't have to wait that long. Take action now.